Why, hello and welcome to the Play Callers Pod. We are here again. It is Monday night. Happy Labor Day to anybody and everybody who is celebrating. We obviously Coach Kirk Broussard, always here. Chris is not with us tonight, but we do have Bobby filling in his spot.
Hello, everybody.
I had a great Labor Day. Our Labor Day Classic, the big game, CFL Ticats versus the Argos. Guess what? I'm representing because we won.
What was the score?
32-19.
Nice.
It was a great game. Like
a home game?
Yes, and it was our first home game.
Oh, nice.
It's been, don't quote me the exact number, but it is sitting around 659 days.
Okay. How was the attendance?
Wow. The attendance, amazing. Obviously, first choice went to season ticket holders, and they had single tickets. But the crowd, everyone kept saying, and it was on repeat the whole game, it's like Christmas morning. It's like Christmas morning. And I'm like, no, this isn't like Christmas morning. This isn't a vibe. This is a lifestyle.
Yeah. So
it was cool.
So a packed house. What were the COVID rules and restrictions on that?
Yes. Well, so here's the thing with the whole COVID. You were supposed to wear your mask while you were in your seat. Most people did not, even though we were outside. You don't have access to players. So myself, being a media person, you would be able to go and interview a player. You can't. Everything has to be done virtual. They do their press conferences. It's all virtual. So yeah, I mean, they do a great job for what they can. What they put out for rules and regulations, like every stadium, it's obviously the person who's not maybe following it, right? Because you'll always have that one or two people. Okay, there was a lot more than two people that weren't wearing their mask, but yeah, it was interesting, but it was great though. It was fun. It was so good to have the boys play back at home.
You're at a football game. You got to eat and you got to drink, so it's kind of hard to keep that mask on and yell. You got to cheer. You know?
Yeah, I know. Okay, listen, we can debate it, but rules are saying you must wear your mask. So
yeah. It's kind of hard to even hear people talk with a mask on, let alone let the players hear the fans yell, you know?
Right. And when you have the sun beaming on you,
yeah,
and you have a mask on, it is very hard. But regardless, the Ticats, we won. Everybody is happy here in town. The city is vibing. As I said, it is a lifestyle. It's not Christmas morning because it's a great feeling. How was your weekend? What have you been up to? Coach Kirk Broussard, I want you to give us an update on Feed the Kids.
Oh, yeah. So my weekend was pretty at the house and just with the kids. And my kids were sick. They had colds. So I didn't really get to go out and do much at all with them because they were kind of like fatigued. And I wanted them to rest. And it's my opportunity to like nourish them and do all the things that my mom did for me. You know, maybe they'll remember that one day when I'm old and they'll take care of me. So,
you were being a good daddy. You were taking care of all the sick kids.
Yep.
The worst. Summer colds are the worst.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But they seem to be bouncing back. You know, kids are resilient and they're on the way back up versus being down. So they actually went out to the park and played today. So that's a good thing. But yeah, again, so we have the Feed the Kids. I'm still steady with that as far as in October. I'm going to go down at the end of October and I'm going to select 2 more orphanages and I'm going to make some donations, some food donations. So if any listeners want to be a part of helping a community, a country that's really been hit hard with COVID, they just experienced 2 hurricanes, which is one of the reasons I'm going to be going down because I have some rental property there that's been damaged that I need to get back in good standing. And so while I'm there, I'm going to try to do some good work and go to the orphanages and do my part with some food donations. And if anyone wants to assist me, you know, they can reach out to the link that we're going to put on the screen and go to the GoFundMe and make a donation to help me out. $10, $20, anything helps.
Yes, absolutely. And we will be putting out everything on social media, how somebody can help you, because this is such an incredible initiative. And it's your time. Like, you are doing this out of the kindness of your own heart because you saw a need and you want to help. So we really appreciate everything. So we're going to talk about football. obviously, we are heading into a very exciting week. Bittersweet because summer has pretty much ended. It's the last long weekend of summer, but exciting that we are heading into a season of football. Oh, I feel like the gods are with us and they are singing. So that is very exciting. I know a couple weeks ago we did predictions, and I do have it on my phone because I did send it to you guys. Some we agreed on, some we didn't.
Yeah.
I'm going to resend that to you because I felt like this week we will put it in stone because there's a few that I want to actually change now.
Yeah.
And we will put that up there and we'll see who the better guy is when it comes to predicting.
Yeah. I would like to organize a poll for our fans of the show to do a weekly football poll. And maybe there's some way we can do it from an online source and we can engage the fans to give their picks as well and see how it comes out every week.
Yeah, that would be great. Definitely we have to look into that because, I mean, we only have a couple of days left.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And everything that's it.
Yeah.
And I got to get all my Giants gear out.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I wear it all year round, but I do have certain things that I wear on game day because I am very superstitious as well.
Yeah.
And I got to wear a hat a certain way. I have my certain hoodie that I like to wear. Yes.
I'll take your Pittsburgh colors you're wearing.
Yeah, well, hey, good Steel Town guys. Okay, let's get right to it. Let's talk about Miami Hurricanes. They're saying that usually when they lose, when there's an opener, they spiral out of control.
Yeah.
And there's no coming back. So, I mean, tough loss. There's the Miami, Alabama hangover. It is a real thing. It is a real thing. So, Coach Kirk Broussard, tell me what is going on.
Yeah, that's a tough one because Miami, you're talking about a university that has such rich tradition of winning. They were winners for so much time in the 90s and the 80s. And now they've been on this uncertainty of where, you don't really know where they're going to be each year. And I'm going to say the season's not over for Miami. They just ran against a juggernaut for the first game, Alabama. A lot of teams would have gotten beat by Alabama, but I think we were looking to see if they would be competitive, and they weren't very competitive at all in their game. And, what's the next excuse? We were looking to see if they close some of that gap with a team like Alabama and, maybe proving that they could be a Final Four team. And we didn't see that at all. Again, it's early in the season. And the offensive productivity was just horrible. The defense looked horrible against Alabama. And like I said, Alabama will make a lot of teams look horrible, but we looked to see if they would be competitive, and we didn't see that. So it's like, where do they go next? They play in the ACC, and they got some tough games coming up ahead of them. And we're going to look to see, obviously, the next opponent is kind of a opponent that's a lesser opponent, so they should be able to rebound from the loss. But how can they get through the season? You got North Carolina coming up on the schedule, who North Carolina disappointed the first week, but we know North Carolina has talent, and that's going to be a tough game. You got Florida State at the end of the year. Florida State showed last night that they can potentially be a competitive team as well this year. And, they got Clemson. I mean, a lot of times you ring that up as a loss. Looking forward, we can see 3 to 4 more losses on the schedule for Miami. You're talking about a 5-loss season, and that's not what Miami Hurricanes fans want. You got a lot of alumni players from that team. Your Ray Lewis's, your Ed Reed's, your Michael Irvin. These guys have very strong allegiance and pride for the U logo, as they like to say. And they don't like seeing that the university, on the downside of college football. A lot of those great players in Miami have been taken out of there by Alabama and Clemson. They're not getting the elite players anymore. And it's a concern. They thought Manny Diaz can turn it around. Again, we can't call the dogs yet, but we got to give him a couple more weeks and see how he trends.
Yeah. So do you guys think that it's, they're pretty much stamping them right now as, okay, this is what's happened in the past. They've spiraled out of control. This is what's going to happen because it happens all the time. And you're saying it is really early because, it's just, some would be like, well, it was just one game. But do you feel like that this hangover is like a legit thing?
Well, I don't like again. I'm just gonna say it's not the loss so much. It's just how they looked in the loss. They looked bad. They didn't look great at all. So if they had showed some promise, some competitiveness, I don't know. What do you think, Bobby? Did you watch that game? Did we lose Bobby?
I think Bobby's frozen.
Okay. Yeah, but they need to show that they can be a competitive team, even going against a Clemson and an Alabama. They should have had more fight in that game and showed that they can put up some points and show that they can get some stops on defense, and they didn't do that. And Alabama looked great. I mean, that quarterback, Bryce Young, is so poised for a freshman. He is so calm. He doesn't get rattled. He makes all the right throws. He can throw off balance. He's undersized. He's only 5'9", 5'10". So immediately you say, wow, he's not even a quarterback's prototypical stature at all. But wow, he has all the other tools that you would want in a quarterback. He may be the best quarterback in the country right now.
Oh wow, that's a pretty powerful point right there.
Yeah.
Moving forward, Notre Dame. The coach is defending what he's said. I mean, he's just joking about what the team was like. What were your thoughts on the Notre Dame game?
On that game, I was just able to catch the highlights. I didn't watch the entire game, but I think a lot of people were surprised that FSU made a rally late and made it a competitive game. And part of that was because of the quarterback change. They put Mackenzie Milton in, and he gave them a spark. They rallied 18 points back by 18 points down, and they took the game into overtime. And I think that's going to go far. It was a moral victory for Florida State and their fans to be competitive against a juggernaut like Notre Dame has proven that Notre Dame has been recruiting in the top 5. Notre Dame has elite talent. And for Florida State to rally and make that a competitive game, it bodes well for the future. They've already been recruiting very well this year. They've been really recruiting well. So that's promising. But we're going to have to see how they continue to look in the rest of the season, obviously. But last night, they exceeded my expectations for them. Did you catch that game, Bobby?
Well, I'm a big Notre Dame fan, so yeah, I was watching that last night.
Okay.
Coach, I have a question. I'm not sure if Tracy mentioned it. The ACC had a pretty bad weekend overall, right?
Yeah.
0-5, 0-6. Almost every team lost against, out-of-conference opponents.
Yeah.
How does that bode as far as the conference for the season going forward?
I look at it like this. You had a few ACC teams that were talking about, well, we want to join the SEC, when Oklahoma and Texas made a jump. Now I got to ask myself, would the SEC even want some of those teams? I mean, the only team we'd want out of the ACC probably is Clemson, to be honest with you. As far as I'm a SEC guy, so I say we, but it didn't look good. Week 1 is tough because you want to schedule a big opponent week 1 to have that national spotlight game, and they had those with Georgia, Clemson, Alabama, Miami, and then Florida State, Notre Dame. That's 3 big spotlight games against all 3 potentially Final Four caliber teams. So I wouldn't knock the ACC after week 1 because of that, because it was a tough schedule, So I think that ACC is going to be all right. Even North Carolina lost, and no one expected that. Everybody expected North Carolina to be pretty strong this year. But I think it goes back to one of those things to where this season was a little different because normally the defenses are always ahead of the offense whenever you break camp. And this year, teams actually got a spring and they got a fall camp, which is different from last year. They didn't get a spring, and you saw poor tackling last year with teams putting up a lot of points last year. Those camps are important because that's when you work on the fundamentals of tackling and the basic fundamentals of football. And I think we got that this year. So you saw the defense ahead of most offenses. And I think as time goes on, North Carolina's going to roar back and show that they're a strong team. I think Florida State's going to make some noise this year and show that they're an improved team. And I think Miami's going to be either about where they were at last year or a little bit below.
Now, real quick, Trace, being a big Notre Dame fan, what did you take away from Notre Dame last night? To me, all eyes were on the quarterback, transferred from Wisconsin, who played in some big games. Now he's on a much bigger stage, and I think he did very well.
Well, again, I didn't watch that game last night, but I did catch the highlights of it. And I know that guy, he came in with a lot of the coaches and the media have had a lot of confidence. From what I've heard, they've had a lot of confidence in this new quarterback, and they've had confidence that he can really, lead Notre Dame into a good situation at the end of the year. And obviously, I mean, they put up 44 points last year, and it wasn't against some scrub team. I mean, Florida State still had some talent on that roster. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't worry about Notre Dame. The thing that impresses me most about Notre Dame is their offensive line has changed in the last 5 years. They got some maulers on the offensive line now beyond what they had previously, because I think once they went against teams like Clemson or Alabama in these Final Four matchups and they got manhandled, mm-hmm. they realized they had to revamp the offensive line, and it shows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you're watching and you want to chime in on this conversation, if you have a question for Coach Kirk or for Bobby, if you have one, maybe you just don't agree with what someone is saying, please let us know. That's probably the best part of the show is when we hear from the listeners. Moving forward, Nebraska football. Fans are really loyal there. I mean, we can agree with someone who has a football team, their fans are really loyal. But the question tonight is, do you feel that Nebraska football is dead? Who would
I think they fall in that category of like a dead brand, especially with today's athlete, because the kids that are around today, they don't remember the glory days of Nebraska like their parents do. Like I was listening to one guy. If my kid was a prospect right now and he got an offer from Nebraska, it probably wouldn't excite him as much as a offer from Notre Dame would, because Notre Dame has been relevant lately. And Nebraska hasn't been relevant in a really, really long time. So long that kids today don't remember Nebraska. And so that brand was super powerful for my generation and the generations before me. Nebraska was the Alabama of today. You couldn't touch them. But now that brand, it just doesn't mean much. It's in the category, and I hate to say this, but Tennessee is also in that category.
Really?
Kids today don't remember Peyton Manning in college. And that's the last time Tennessee was good.
Yeah, Bobby, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's early yet. We haven't yet get into Big Ten season. But if a team like Rutgers or Illinois or Indiana start beating Nebraska, it's going to damage their brand big time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
UCLA LSU game. I mean, they've had to deal with a lot because we were dealing with a team that had to relocate because of the hurricane, get into that mind frame pretty quickly, especially when you're worried about family and your home. And there's a lot of stuff that goes with it. And Coach, I'm sure you understand how a coach feels that responsibility when they take a loss or whatever happens on that field. Now, Coach O says that he is taking the blame for the LSU loss. What are your thoughts on that game?
Well, I mean, I can understand, the situation at home was definitely heavy on a lot of kids' minds and hearts to have to go out to California and play a game with that going on at home. I lived through Hurricane Katrina. At the time, being from New Orleans originally, I was actually living in Florida. And, at the time I was in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I had quite a few of friends and family that were bunking up with me, just to get a nice place to stay and, to get out of the chaos that they had just experienced. So the city is flooded. It's below sea level. A lot of kids probably were thinking about family back home. I think if the game was in LSU's backyard, it would have been a lot more competitive. But I predicted that would happen because UCLA has looked pretty good, and their offense is sparking. And the quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he's a legit stud. And I knew it was going to cause problems for LSU. And, it worked out that same way. I started to put a bet on that game because I predicted UCLA would do what they did. And LSU, I don't know, Coach O, what can you say? I mean, he got the national championship under his belt. I think he recruits well, but personally, I think he caught lightning in a bottle when he got Joe Burrow. I mean, that was kind of like a generational type talent and a transfer at that. No one knew Joe Burrow would be that good. I think he caught lightning in a bottle. He got a great offensive coordinator, had one of the most prolific offenses in the history of college football. And that's kind of hard. And to his credit, LSU has lost a lot of players to the National Football League in recent years. And you can't really use that as an excuse, because look at what Alabama does. When they lose a lot of players in the NFL, they just reload. And LSU has been recruiting elite at an elite level, but it goes back to that quarterback position. They have not landed a quarterback in the most recent cycles, several of the most recent cycles, in any of Orgeron's cycles. They have not landed a quarterback that can put them over the hump on that elite category level. And a quarterback really makes a difference, and they have not done that. They landed Joe Burrow. That was a stroke of the luck, and now they kind of look like an average SEC team.
Bobby, what's your feedback on the UCLA LSU game?
I'll be honest, I kind of missed that game. I was doing some stuff this weekend, but in the same vein, let's talk about Oklahoma versus Tulane, and that Tulane program also around the New Orleans area, almost pulling an upset off. Those kids play with passion.
That's an excellent point, because those kids are experiencing the same things the LSU kids are experiencing, and they came out. They got relocated to Oklahoma, and they came out ready to kick some butt. They almost beat Oklahoma, and so I guess that's why I say you can't really use that as a complete excuse.
No.
I think it comes down to UCLA has a better quarterback than LSU's quarterback. I think LSU is physical enough to put up some points, but I do think it would have been a closer game, and I think LSU potentially could have came out on top if the game was in Louisiana.
Okay,
because there's a talent gap there.
If you're watching and you want to respond, please comment in that comment section, and I'll be able to read it off to Coach Kirk Broussard and Bobby, who is joining us tonight. Coach Chris Williams is not available. Happy Labor Day weekend, everybody. Yes, we're talking some college football, and I know we started off by talking about the Hamilton Tiger Cats because we had a big win. Let's talk about something that is very, very important. It's a headline that is not going to go away, no matter if we're talking about whichever level of sports, college or CFL or NFL. Fully vaccinated teams are now having COVID spikes. I know I briefly touched on that here. We are not allowed to go near the players. So that means when I want to interview them or you want to go to the press conference, everything is virtual. And it's actually time slotted. So if you want to have some time with the player, you're put in and you get a link and you go in. So, and if we have to forfeit because of COVID, it's an instant loss. So what is going on with all these teams? I mean, they're fully vaccinated. I know that if you're not vaccinated, there's going to be some pretty harsh consequences to not getting that vaccine with the players in NFL. I don't know. What's your thoughts on this?
Bobby?
I'm going to take the NFL take real quick. Now, I'm sure we're going to do predictions today, rest of the week, different shows and whatnot. But I'm really pulling for Buffalo Bills this year. I think they're a complete team, but you have to wonder if the one thing that's going to derail their success is like Cole Beasley and I believe even Josh Allen not getting vaccinated. Is that going to somehow affect the overall performance of a team with Super Bowl aspirations?
Well, they're saying, I read an article while I was researching stuff for the show, saying that players will have heavy consequence, meaning that they may not even be able to play because they aren't getting the vaccine. So is that something where, I mean, it's a tough thing. I know it's a hard thing to respond. We're not going to solve this tonight, but everyone has their opinion. I get it. But I mean, this is what they're saying. But if you look at the teams that are fully vaccinated, we were talking about how come their numbers are spiked. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. So, Kirk, do you have a comment on this?
Yeah, I just don't see how you can mandate or try to mandate players to get vaccinated if you're having COVID spikes from players that are fully vaccinated. To me, that makes no sense at all. So, yeah. I don't know. I just feel like it's definitely going to be a problem. It's going to be an issue at some point in the season. Yeah. It's been an issue in the world. It doesn't seem like it's going away, and it's sad. It's It's one of those things that no one has an answer for, and it's became political. And that's the sad thing about it, because you have a lot of households that feel different ways about this thing, and it seems like the government is kind of like put their 2 cents into it, and it's just difficult to mandate for something. It's difficult to mandate what someone does with their body. This is my body. So who are you to tell me what to do with my body? If you to attend the game, if I got to get a COVID test and wear a mask, I'll do it. But don't mandate what I do with my body. And that's not saying I'm vaccinated or not vaccinated. It's just I see both people's argument on both sides.
Yes. Yeah. And that's obviously something that we don't really discuss on the show, but it is something that is coming up when we talk about football. So let's move on to the next topic. So no surprise, it's been officially confirmed that Texans to start Tyrod Taylor as quarterback over Deshaun Watson. 22 women, we've talked about this before, allegedly sexual assault, alleged harassment. So now he is sitting, he is not playing. What are your thoughts on Tyrod Taylor?
Tyrod Taylor is a really gifted quarterback. He's a quarterback who is, at this point in his career, he's probably never going to be like an all-star caliber quarterback, but he's a solid answer that can get you through games, that can be effective. You can put up some points with him. I was with him in Buffalo briefly, and he was the best quarterback on our roster. When I got to Buffalo, he was brought in to be like the third option. And when we had our first coaches meeting and they went around and I said, I think Tyrod Taylor's our starting quarterback. They all laughed at me. And by the end of camp, Tyrod Taylor was the starting quarterback. Yeah. And so I feel like, but to beat out Deshaun Watson, I mean, we all know what that's about. We all know Deshaun Watson is an all-star caliber talent. He's got a ton of off the field distractions, and it's really hard to play well when you have off the field distractions. And so I think he just needs to get out of Houston and get a fresh start. They need to get what they can get for him and let him go somewhere else.
Okay, Bobby, what do you think?
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor, it seems like at least 2 or 3 times the past 4 or 5 seasons, he's been in the same position. He's the placekeeper. He's the quarterback who's good enough to start, but you don't love him enough to build around him. So when they find the quarterback they want to build around, and he goes somewhere else and gets in that same situation again.
Yeah.
He's getting paid, right? So he's making money.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely getting paid. He got a big deal.
It's all about the money. Right? All about the money, honey. Okay. Big surprise. I mean, were you guys shocked when you read that Cam Newton released? I know a lot of people, like, they were just like, this shocked the world. Let's put it that way.
It did.
I felt like it was like at that level. So, I mean, the biggest free agent right now, is he going to have to just settle as a backup? What do you think is going to happen? What's your predictions when it comes to Cam Newton?
I think Cam, his pride, I think he'd rather sit out than be a backup, first of all, because I think he feels like he's still good enough to be a starter, and he is.
Well, Dallas doesn't want him.
Well, Dallas has Dak, and he's not going to want to go and back up Dak.
No.
So.
Ego, man. Like, doesn't he want to play? Doesn't it just come down to, hey, if you want to play, like, play the game?
When you've been a perennial.
Instead of looking like a.
When you've been a perennial Pro Bowler, you don't want to go and be a backup, especially when he's only 31, maybe somewhere in that range. He's still in his prime, years-wise. If he can prove that he's fully recovered from the injury, I don't see a reason why he can't go back to being a really good quarterback. I saw a poll recently with thousands and thousands that voted, asking were they surprised that Cam Newton got released, and 80% said they were surprised. So, yeah, it was a shocker. Yeah. It was a shocker probably to the NFL. So I think he's going to land somewhere. Seems like he would have already landed somewhere, though, because the NFL, they expedite stuff. They don't wait. Like, no. Everything they expedite. When they cut you in the NFL, as soon as you walk out of the coach's office, they've already rounded up all your stuff. They hand you a plane ticket that's already been purchased, and they got somebody getting you straight to the airport. And
really?
They get you on the next flight out. I'm telling you, you don't even got time to go to your apartment and get your stuff together. They round it all up.
Come on.
Yeah, they get you out fast.
Wow.
So when they want to make a transaction, they do it fast. That's signing people and cutting them. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I get it. But at least give me some time to get my stuff.
They do it for you.
Oh my gosh. Bobby, what do you think? Cam Newton, big topic, shocked the world.
Speaking of the word transaction, Coach posted something this week about that. And I think I responded, well, remember that business decision he made a couple of years ago for that fumble? He was the same guy here.
Yeah, right? I saw that. Yeah, I saw it.
He didn't die for that ball.
Yeah.
And maybe that's maybe he's getting a reputation of being a little bit soft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm surprised he didn't go to Pittsburgh, because even though he would back up Ben,
he could play next year.
He would play next year, and Ben has proven that he can't stay healthy sometimes for a whole season. So,
but you said he doesn't want to go in as a backup, so why would he go there? I mean, I get it. He's always been he's an incredible athlete. That's not what we're talking about when it comes to his sport or an athletic ability. But if you want to play the game, you play the game, and versus sitting out looking like, you're having a little temper tantrum on the sideline versus I'm just going to get out there, even if it's a backup.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, Trace, one thing.
A diva.
It's inevitable in the NFL that by week 2, at least one starting quarterback is going to be knocked out of a game and knocked out of at least the season. It happens every year.
Yeah.
Maybe
it does.
Him and his agent are just sitting in the back and wait.
Yeah, they're just sitting there waiting.
Same thing with Adrian Peterson. Same thing with maybe even a Frank Gore, who might be able to help a team who has a late injury at running back. So we're going to see a lot of that this year.
So that will be the main topic. Week 2, we'll be talking about where he landed, right? Who got hurt, who's out, and where.
Yeah, I think Bobby's right. Yeah, I think Bobby's right.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about NFL Week 1 predictions. I have that right here. I think there's a few that I'm going to change. I think. But as we said, what we will do, I will send it out to everybody. We will do our picks. We will get people to say who they feel that they more relate to. Is it Coach Kirk Broussard with his predictions? Chris, Bobby, put yours up. I'll put mine up, and we'll see who is the last man standing at the end of the week with the most amount of right predictions. But yeah, if you guys want to give me a game, I can tell you who picked what. See, I know, for example, Steelers and Bills. Kirk, you picked the Bills, and Chris and I picked the Steelers.
Okay.
I'm on the fence about that one. I don't know. Because I think that I've always been very open about my love for the Bills and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
They're not my team, but I've been predicting them for 2 years now. They were going to be somewhere, and they are.
I think it's going to be a close competitive game, but I think the Bills are going to pull it out and win.
Okay.
I think you may see the Bills go on like a nice winning streak, like 8 or 9 game winning streak, something crazy.
But usually when you're on a winning streak, you usually end up shitting the bed. So
yeah, it can happen. But
I mean, look at the Giants. We've Bobby, come on, we've seen that happen. How many times?
Yeah.
The Bills are a more talented team than Pittsburgh right now.
Yeah. Let's see. Packers and Saints. Actually, all 3 of us went with the Saints, but I did read an article and I just skimmed it. It was a headline. Now, I'm not sure if this is correct, but they were saying why they felt that the Packers will win.
Oh, let me change that one. I want to go Packers on that one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
I probably just went with the Saints because I like the Saints. But I think the Packers are a better team.
Okay.
Where's the game being played?
In New Orleans, probably. That's probably why I picked the Saints.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay, like I said, we just picked these a couple weeks ago. And it was like random picks. I'm just not sure. See, I like to make last minute changes. And I believe you have up until, I don't know, so many hours before the game because, the weather could change. I need to know who's on the injury report, who's playing, who's not playing, which way the wind is going. Like, there's a lot to take into a prediction.
Yeah.
It's true. You guys know it's true. So Bears and Rams, all three of us went with the Rams.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. So I will send this out. We will get our viewers and listeners to give us their predictions as well until we can get this whole online thing. If you're watching and you know how we can do this, please let us know, because it would be fun. And maybe we'll get some prizes from a sponsor or a local restaurant or something.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Maybe some beer and wings.
Some beer or a restaurant gift card or something.
Yeah, that would be great. Gentlemen, what are your predictions when it comes to Rookie of the Year? Now, I did kind of look at this when there were some bold predictions out there. What do you guys think? I'm not the greatest when it comes to predictions as far as like predicting this far. I need to see them play a little bit more. But
do you have the predictions you saw in front of you?
I don't have the list.
Okay.
Someone had just mentioned up in a conversation Kyle Pitts, immediate star.
Yeah, that's a good option. Who do you got, Bobby?
Yeah,
I'm going to go a homer here and pick Najee Harris.
Okay. When's the last time a running back was Rookie of the Year?
It's been a while.
So I think I would go. It's a very good question. I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go Mac Jones.
Yeah, I saw him. That was another one on the list, and I was torn between him, but
I'm going to go with Mac.
I wasn't sure.
It
but
depends on when the Niners quarter Trey Lance and Justin Fields, right?
Yeah.
Begin starting for their teams. They're not starting right away. But
they were on the fence. I know Trey Lance was on the fence. People were on the fence about him getting it because they're like, yeah, you know what? He may come on good, but again, what happens? It might get to him. So might not be a pick, but you never know. As I said, you guys, you're the experts. I ask you, and along the way, I put my 2 cents in. But I would just need to look at that one a little bit more. And lastly, MVP predictions.
Who you got, Bob?
Quarterback I have in 3 of my fantasy teams. He better stay healthy. Josh Allen.
Yeah, I like him. He's on my list. But then we go back to, okay, well, what's going to happen and what can happen? So we'll send some healthy and happy vibes towards him. Coach Kirk Broussard.
I think it's going to be kind of a different MVP this year. I think it's always been quarterbacks a lot of times. I think this year's going to be a little different. I think it's going to be a defensive guy that's going to get it. Yeah, I think it's going to be either Aaron Donald or it's going to be Chase Young. I think one of those two, Aaron Donald, Chase Young, or Myles Garrett.
Okay.
I think one of those 3, they're going to lead the league in sacks and they're going to win the MVP.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
We will see. We will see. It was going to, you know what? We just wanted to pop in tonight, pop on, say hi, see how everyone was doing, get a couple topics under, get some feedback and stuff. And guys, thank you very much for your time. This is the Play Callers Pod. Ooh, what?
I want to change my Rookie of the Year pick. My Rookie of the Year pick is going to be Micah Parsons from the Cowboys.
Who just messaged you?
Michael Parsons. No one messaged me. I just had to go back and look at the entire first round, and I remember Micah Parsons is my favorite player in the draft.
Okay. Well, we've recorded it. It is out there. So we will definitely come back to this because you never know. Like most things, it will change along the way. I will get those predictions for week 1 out. We will post who we think is going to win, and then we will move forward.
Penn State, you ought to be familiar with him, right, Bobby?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I want him for the Giants. I was really hoping the Giants would land him, but
yeah, he's a beast.
Any last words tonight, gentlemen? Anything else you want to talk about?
I want to give my Rookie of the Year dark horse. He's a giant too. You're gonna love it. Kadarius Toney. Yeah. Get familiar. You're a Giants fan.
Yeah.
Get familiar with that name, Kadarius Toney.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kadarius it is.
Yeah.
I look forward to him. Okay, guys. Well, you guys enjoy the rest of your Labor Day. Take it easy. I hope the kids are feeling better. And Bobby, thanks for popping in and taking the spot tonight. And 1 week tonight, we have a lot to catch up on.
Double header, right? Next Monday night, double header.
Oh my goodness, that's gonna be a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I don't wish time away, but you know what? This week I do. So, gentlemen, have a good night. We will catch you guys next week on the Play Callers Pod. Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.